Welcome to Brainstorm Pro. I'm going to be going over a top 5 list of guns to give to somebody who has an aversion to shooting. And this aversion is not they are not trained well enough. This aversion is they have something wrong with their hands or their body to where they cannot handle a high recoil gun or a gun that's very uncomfortable to shoot, or maybe even a gun that's very loud to shoot. Here we go. The first gun I would recommend is something along the lines of the Ruger LCR series. The bare minimum I would recommend is something like the 22 Magnum. And as you can see, it's pretty good because these have relatively light triggers and it's straightforward, easy to use, no hammer. You just open the thing up, load it, and close it, and it's ready to go. So this would go in the number 1 spot. And they make it a 9mm 38 special. I would recommend at the very minimum a 22 Magnum. Even things like J-frame Smith & Wessons here in the number 2 spot can be chambered in that 22 Magnum. And they'll have no hammer, nothing like that. The triggers do tend to be a little heavier on the Smith & Wessons. The grips can be uncomfortable, but you can swap that grip out and get any type of grip that's more comfortable if you need to. And like I said before, 22 Magnum should be the bare minimum that is used in this. Now in the 3rd spot is the Glock 42. This is a 380, and unlike very, very snappy guns like the Ruger LCP, which are actually a lot smaller and take the same magazine capacity, the 6+1, the Glock 42 is very easy to handle, very light recoil, and it's a pretty large for a 380. Now, in this spot, I have not really heard much about this gun. I don't know how good it is, but this new gun by Smith & Wesson is clearly going for this whole concept of having a gun that is very straightforward and easy to use. It's got a grip safety, no trigger safety, and they brag that it's easier to rack the slide, and it's chambered in 380 so that you can give it to grandma, who's honestly might have arthritis, and this is the biggest, baddest thing she could shoot. Now, in the number 5 spot is when you're gonna put a lot of money into this, and that is going class 3. I feel that a lot of what can make the shooting experience really hard is that noise, in that flash. So if you got something like a Glock 43 and put a suppressor on it, or if their hands are big enough, Glock 26, Glock 19, Glock 17, putting that suppressor on it, I think that is the most comfortable gun for somebody who would have a big aversion to it. And definitely putting some kind of aftermarket trigger in there to make everything as comfortable as possible. I've also found that the Glock 43, I think it's because of that recoil spring, is very, very easy to rack to slide back on. And that is a deal breaker for a lot of people. So with all of these, I'm trying to have it be the most straightforward, easy to operate gun, but the best gun for the job. And none of these are ideal, by the way. I mean, a couple of these are nice, like the Glock 43, 42, but none of these are ideal for self-defense. So these are the guns that I would recommend in dire straits situations where you took them out to the range, they've sat with an instructor, and there is just something wrong with their body to where they cannot tolerate any other gun. Ideally, everybody would have a Glock 19 or something like that, but some people, they just can't tolerate it or don't like it. So if they want the easiest shooting experience, in the bare minimum to where it's like these guns are better than having no gun at all, this is the best advice I can give. Thank you guys. Let me know what you think.